welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today on Gabriel. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. You're a newer band to me, and more or less a newer band. So I'd like you to introduce yourself and the band because it's kind of exciting, actually. I've been digging you guys since I've been hearing your music.
We are very excited by the Slamdinistas project, which started out as a solo project. Um, Pretty much, I'm a songwriter. I was getting my catalog together, and I've known Lauren Molinar for quite some time. He's an old friend of mine, and I asked him to produce me. And he said, "Wow, interesting, let's do it." And he actually produced an album before that I released on my own.
Mhm.
And then I said, "Hey, I'm coming back to do the second one. Will you do it?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." Um, that second session, we brought in a different drummer, Brian Irving. I brought him in, and I brought in a new guitarist, Mike Gavigan, in on these sessions. For some reason, the songs, what Lauren did with his creating the production on the songs,
Yeah.
and what everybody contributed to into that session, we stopped. We were sitting there going over like mixing, and we're thinking that, wow, this is such a good thing. And I'm just grateful how great it's sounding. And Lauren says, "Wow, it sounds like a band." Then I go, "Wow, that's really interesting." She said that. He goes, "Yeah, maybe you got a band." And so just by the end of the sessions, before the session even ended, we played a live show for some record exec, and he signed us right on the spot. That was Die Laughing Records. They are no longer in business, and we are now with Rumbar Records. Little shout out there for Rumbar. So, it all came together as just kismet. It just meshed together so well that we just had. Lauren said, "We have to be a band." And when Die Laughing signed us, Golden Robot, he said, "Well, we'll sign those guys only if all the guys agree to it." And all the guys agreed to it. So that's really good. Lauren Molinar. Lauren Molinar's played with the Dogs. He's on tour with the Pisados right now. Yeah, we've got Brian Irving, who's played with so many bands. Paul Ill. We don't know if Paul Ill's still part of this. We have a new bass player, Peter Downing, who filled in son on the show, and Mike Gavigan is still with the band and all that. So yeah, we're doing well. We're going to New York soon too.
So the band itself, was everybody when everybody else came in besides you, they weren't expecting anything either. Were they all like, "Hey, this is kind of feeling good"? Like,
Nobody was expecting it. It's just like everybody laid their parts down. We started going back, listening to everything, and we're just kind of like silently like looking at each other. And Lauren was the first one to say it. He goes, "This should be a band." And when Brian Irving was like, the drummer was like, "You know what? I think you're right." And he was willing to it. I asked him, "Well, will you play some live shows?" And he said, "Yeah, would love to do it," and all that. And that's what becoming a band, when we were put on the spot by Golden Robot Records, said, "Well, we'll sign you guys if you all agree to it." And we all agreed. There we go.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, well, because like a lot of people nowadays are in a few bands each, you know. So it's kind
Yes.
of weird, or they tried it, but it's the dynamics always different. Whether they want to be, they're just trying. Some people are just doing like buckshot at a barn, or if they try enough different things, they're bound to get signed. Some people are just in a lot of bands because they like different types of music, which is more like what Lauren is in. Lauren's in a couple bands, and they're all very different. To me, they're very different styles, which is going to be very exciting as an artist. So the fact that this band was more of an organic thing, and then instead of like a bunch of people just what I mean, throwing their luck in, it
Yeah.
feels and the album does feel like a band. It doesn't feel like a solo record, music.
Yeah. It's what came together during those sessions was just amazing. Lauren, I just put him in charge of all the songs, and he just took the bull by the horns and came out with a sound that I wanted. I grew up with the 60s, Beatles, Stones, Faces, especially
Mm-hmm.
Rod Stewart in the Face. Um, and and he goes, "Wow," and all that. We said, "This sounds like this. This sounds like that." We copped this sound, and it was just fun. It was fun as all hell, and we're still together. We're still together. That was back in 2018,
Yep.
19. Yeah, I think the record was finished 2019. We didn't release it till about a year later. I actually write, you know, the song Brand New Day. I
Hmm.
actually wrote that to Rodney back in 2019. Yeah, 2019 or maybe 2020, and under Gabriel Johns. And he
Okay.
played it. And he played it like 5 or 6 times. And I thought, wow, that is so awesome. Then we changed the name to the Gabriel Johns Project because we were becoming a band.
Yeah.
And Rodney played, changed the name and continued to play Brand New Day. And I go, wow, that's really interesting because that's a no-no. You don't come back and say, hey, we're a band, blah, blah, blah. You lump it. You submit it, he plays it, and that's it. Came back the third time saying, hey, we are now the Slamdinistas. Is it possible to change it? And he changed it. That was really good that he just, wow, that's 3 times. We made those changes 2 times. And he went with it and it was really good. He's a big fan of ours.
That's cool. I mean, but let's, it sounds more like it's an evolution, not just a project. Like it evolved. It wasn't like you're like, I'm in a band this week. I'm not in a band this week. I'm trying something new. It's like you started solo, and then you realized it was becoming more of a project. So you wanted to give everybody credit by not making just you, and then the band. So it feels like it's more of an evolution of, and then just trying something different. You know what I mean?
You know, you are right about that. And to tell you the truth, it was Lauren who saw that. He saw what's coming together, and he's totally into being a totally organic. The project being organic, from effects on everything to everything.
Yeah.
We just try to keep it really original, keep it really clean, tight, and everybody was on the same page. It was just amazing. And when he
It's a good
said,
sound.
"Wow, when we're going to be a band," I was like, "Wow, what?" Yes, yes, please.
To me, it reminds me of some of the songs, and not like comparing you to a band, but some of the songs reminds me of the punk energy with the pop influence of like of early like Elvis Costello and the Attractions. Like it's got that punk pop, like it alternative before it was alternative. You know what I'm saying? It just has the energy, but there's still a melody there, and the sounds are not tones you hear very normally on the radio. You put that all
Yeah,
together, and that's kind of what I'm hearing.
that's interesting because every time we're in the studio, we're sitting, let's get this feel, let's get this that feel. And Costello was one of those. I go,
Yeah.
wow, that is a total Costello feel, which I'm very influenced by Elvis. Very much influenced. And I was like very complimented too that we got that kind of feedback.
Yeah.
And Lauren was brilliant in the studio. I talk about Lauren a lot because he brought a lot. He was the man who brought it all together.
Yeah.
Um, the sound he gave us the Slamdinistas sound.
He's been on quite a roll lately between all the new Little Caesar stuff and then dogs and then Cruzados. Like he's really been.
And Plexi Head Management. All
Yep.
the while he's had Plexi Head Management. He's going ahead. He's got us under there. He's got the Hollywood stars. We're all family right now. So it's kind of a really great thing. We just did a show at we opened up for the Cruzados.
Yeah.
Lauren did a double bill that night, and that was
Yeah.
like so much. It was just such high energy, and we pulled it off um, to the crowd. Our sound, we pulled it off, and I was like really impressed. There's a couple of videos of it out on the Slam Denise's official page,
Yeah.
but it's out there. Take a look.
Now you got to open up for the Cruzados and then Little Caesars. So you got to have them do all three bands in one night.
Then we got to open up for the dogs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right.
Right.
It'd be pretty funny.
That guy works hard. He works hard. I give Lauren a lot of credit for this band, for our sound. I'm the majority of the songwriter. I come to Lauren and I got here on my acoustic, on my Gibson acoustic. I said, here, I got this, and it turns into this, blah, 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 to this, it's just epic thing. So I love working with Lauren.
It's nice, and I think the fact it's a band and it's going to evolve even probably more now because this was what you guys got from your first time around growing. Once you guys are playing, it's going to even change even more because you're going to kind of feel out the situation. And it might be different too for songwriting because, you know, like usually a lot of bands will write the songs before they go to studio, they play them. Because the ones that don't play the songs a lot before they record them, usually a year in the road later, they're like, oh, you know, I kind of play it a little differently now because that's not what I really thought. I really wanted to play it after I've been playing it for a while, you know?
Right. You know, it's like that's interesting as you said that because I wrote the songs, a lot of them, and Lauren came in and said, "Well, let's change that. Let's do this. Let's rearrange it." It's all with the arrangement of the songs and all that.
Mhm.
And he a lot, so I gave him credit for the songs that we added to. Um, so that was really good. He was really good at doing that, and I was fine with it. I was fine with it. A couple of them, I was like, you know, wow, that's a really personal song, but I don't care. Sounds good.
Well, I think one of my things I will just say is, are you as an artist serving the song? And is it, and that's really the ultimate. That's usually my favorite type of music. It's not about its style of music. It's about my favorite artist or band. If you're serving a song, the guitar solo. Some bands don't need a guitar solo. Sometimes it can be melody. It can be you don't need crazy vocals. It can just be the song, or the song takes a lot of music and it is very instrumental. But are you serving the song and not the artist? You know,
We are
and
serving, yeah, I would agree with you on that. We are definitely serving the song, and that's why I gave him full
which makes sense. I mean,
power.
I think when you don't as a band, I mean, at first he probably wouldn't care as much, but I think small gestures like that to people, the teamwork, and it changes the dynamic, you know. And you've been in bands forever, you know what it's like. How things eat at people in the back of like everybody wants to be part of the creative process, or if they are they are. But if they're not everyone wants to be in it. But you know what I'm saying, but like once you're in it, you want to be involved, and if the more involved you are, the more you're going to get out of them, and the less they're concerned about themselves than it is you, because then it's not about songwriting or I wrote the song or you know what I'm saying. It's all out there,
Yeah,
and it's just going to pick the best thing because everybody's already invested in the song or the band, you know. And those are the bands that last the longest too. I mean, or the songwriting partnerships last the longest. You know,
you know, we give each player open canvas. We give them that. It says, hey, let's see what you can come up over here. This is what we're working on. We'll come and lay down something. We're working on new stuff right now, and everybody's doing their part. It's taken a little while, but that's because everybody's finding their way, and we let
yeah.
them find their way, and it comes together really nicely.
Well, I
This
think it
next
also,
album,
yeah.
I'm this
No,
next album is going to be more all of us involved in the
yeah,
songwriting, you know, especially Lauren and I. Lauren's coming up with melodies, I'm coming up with lyrics. And somebody here says, you know, can we double this, double time this, and do that? So everybody's got a say in it. So it's like, and we listen to everyone. Everybody's in the band.
I mean, it makes it exciting, and I mean, it doesn't take away the fact that you still could do if you have something that's so precious or just acoustic to you, you could still do it your own solo album. There's like no rules where you can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do your own thing on the side too of this, and let this be a group project because sometimes a group or like people, very rarely can you find somebody that can write all their own music and like they have their own studio and it comes out good. I mean, there are people that do that, but a lot of people need to have a songwriting partner that goes nah, or a producer that says meh, or try this. Like sometimes you need to come out of your own yourself. You know.
Yeah, no, that's true because I remember when I first met Lauren. I've known him for a long time, but when we first started working together, you know, it was a slow process. And I was like, we need
Yeah.
to do this. We need to do that. We got to move. What's going on? Let's take. And he's like, hey, slow down. Let's think about what we're doing. Let's think about what we're doing. Give it a rest. Walk away. Come back. And it was like the best advice I've ever gotten. Then COVID hit, and COVID was the best thing that happened to us
A lot
as
of
the
musicians,
band.
yes, yeah.
It was like, wow, we release song after song. Maybe every 2 or 3 months we release a new song off the current Shoot for the Stars album.
Yep.
And so right now we have 5 songs out that are getting constant radio airplay. Um, which I'm like, really? This is happening? So yeah, I'm pretty excited by it.
That's cool. So look, earlier on, what other bands were you doing earlier on before this projects?
Me, I was in a band called Fido that was pretty much going nowhere. I had a band back called Shelter, and a lot was just me songwriting, not really doing anything, just songwriting. The bands I was in, I was doing solo acoustic stuff around town and all them, but nothing really happened for me musically until I met Lauren. Lauren gave me a new sense of direction on what to do, how to do it, how to make yourself known and all that. And I really appreciate that because I was out there playing the clubs every night almost, and it
Yeah.
was like, excited to see us. Then it would get less and less,
Yeah.
well, you're not from LA. The LA scene is fucked. It's
I've
just,
heard a lot about it.
yeah, it's just like, all your friends will come to see you, then your friends will leave, then it's just like it shrinks down. When I first started hitting the scene about 2015 in LA, it was a really good thing happening. And then I noticed at all these handful of clubs,
Yeah.
oh my God, I go, wow, it's crowded in here. That's really great. And I looked around, I go, oh, these are all the same people. And then a year later, it was all the same people, but less, and the year later it was all the same people, but even fewer. So it was just like, it's a hard thing to do. We don't play very often because of that.
Yeah.
We don't, we want to make a splash in everything we do. And we're going to, this is our fourth show.
That's
We've
crazy.
only played about 4 years. So that's what, once a year, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the scene is goofy. I mean, and I think it's not about 98% of the talented people don't get any attention or the success that they want to get musically. It's just usually just being talented, but it's also being in the right place at the right time, the right and then everybody's the right flavor of the month for somebody. You're doing your own thing for all those years, but you happen to be their flavor. Else, you know what I mean? But you're like, I've been
Yeah.
doing this. I'm the same person. No
Yeah.
better, no worse. I think, and I think and acoustic guitars and acoustic players is great. I think it really makes you a better musician. It's just a hard sell for like people outside of clubs or dedicated fans of music. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting because I host an acoustic night called the Acoustic Mess over at Maui Sugar Mill Saloon the last Thursday of every month.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm contributing something too, because I'll take all these bands. I know a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, come to me and play an acoustic show. A couple of the guys will come from out of the band and come and do something acoustically. And it's marvelous. Right now I had I don't know if you know Prima Donna, the band. Kevin Preston's band. I got Lights Out Levine playing an acoustic show. And he does great. He's a great writer. I got Pat Todd coming out singing for me. And these are all fucking great, talented people, great songs. And they're coming out of the element of the band to just solo on stage, which is brilliant.
It's exciting.
It's just like, yeah.
And it's got to be inspiring for them too. I mean, I think every musician should, most people should keep acoustic in their lives because it's good to break off and do something acoustic or just do these kind of things because it's good for them. But it's a challenge as an artist just to be an acoustic because then you're in this world of so many acoustic players and it's like such a pop world. So like you can't do anything with dangerous rock and roll because it's such a, on the charts, it's just, a different world of acoustic music. You know what I mean? It's not the same as it's not the same acoustic music that I listen to. Like I probably listen to you, but there's like the stuff my family, my kids listen to. I'm like, I don't really consider it acoustic. I mean, because there's other stuff going on in it with the acoustic guitar. The vocals are way different. It's more ambient sounding to me. I want to hear the guitar.
Right.
I want to hear the melody. I want to hear the band. I want to hear the strings being hit by the pick. Like I don't hear that in any of the music. So I think it's two different animals.
And, yes, very true.
But doing it this way is better for a musician because it works with your songs, works for you playing anything acoustically. Once you play acoustically, you're like a race car driver on a guitar,
Yeah. It's an interesting challenge, doing it, now. I've done it all my life acoustically. Just growing up as a solo artist. And just being up there now, out of being out of Slamdinistas onto the stage, I've just have a new approach to how I deliver a song acoustically. And I noticed my other guys, when they play for me, what they do outside of the band. I go, will be interesting to see Pat Todd. Just he's the lead singer, and to see
Yeah.
him play an acoustic set and have that same feel behind it. You know what I mean? Just more soul, more depth.
What's the challenge though? When so like if you write your songs and say it's a newer audience, and you probably do some covers in some places you're doing originals. But when you're approaching it, I always wanted when you're doing an original, and most people don't know it, and you know the audience is sitting through it. Like some people are getting it, but then you have the audience that just there for like songs that they know. You know what I mean? Like radio fans, and then you have musician fans.
Right.
I always feel like God, that would make me feel so awkward because I'm like, I really don't feel like you're really into it. And you know, to push through that to me is so I have so much respect. You know?
Right. Yeah, I give them a lot of credit, and I love inviting new people up to the stage and just like, see what they got to offer. I love acoustic music. I love, even bands. I have bands, at one punk band come out, do just the whole band was acoustic, brought a small little set and guys shredding on acoustic guitar. It's just fun. It's just fun.
So what are your some of your early influences now that have carried over your whole life? Because I mean, sometimes when we're younger, we listen to some music, but as we get older, we change a little bit. But then there's some bands that just like you're like, man, it's so fresh to me like it was yesterday. Like who's still influencing you
Yeah.
now after all these years?
No, let me tell you something. The Beatles still influence me. Their chord progressions really do a lot. I'm a big fan of the Faces, Ronnie Wood's playing, Lane's songwriting. I love all of that. And wow, God, everything from the Jam, English music, Brit rock, rock. That's the stuff that if you listen to it, it's there. It's there. We hashtag our stuff. Pub rock, Brit rock. It's just coming out of there. I love Oasis. I love a lot of stuff that's out there. And it's unfortunate that I can't really think of anyone today that influences me.
Yeah.
There's just nobody out there. Maybe Pete Yorn, maybe I like him, but would I say I'm influenced by him? No. It's just what I grew up on. Bowie, Beatles, Stones, Mott the Hoople, Elvis Costello. There you go.
Well,
those are my go-tos.
I'm sorry if I did step over the delay. Well, like two things, like Elvis and the Beatles and Elvis Costello, they what's good about them and being influenced. Being influenced, it's harder with a new artist because influence you is when you're really learning and you're shaping your sound. If you hear an artist you've already had a sound, it's not going to influence you. It might influence your songwriting or give you some new perspective. So that could happen. But in the terms of this conversation, like the Beatles had so many different sounds, and like Elvis Costello's got so many different sounds. He's got that wheelie spins for different songs. He has so many songs.
Right.
Like to do that and have so many different sounds. He has like 3 or 4 different genres of music he's mastered and done. Beatles, same thing. So like those are great bands to be influenced by because it's not just one style you're listening to on every album. You're like every album's different.
Right. Very true. In terms of myself, it's just like we go over the songs. We go over what we're going to do, what we're going to come out. We kind of dissect the song to see what we can bring to, what we can bring out of it. I have a lot of songs that aren't on the album that that we turned down, that will come out later. Some whatever. To tell you the truth, Sean, I'm a songwriter. It's what I do, and I want to sell my music. I want to make money as a songwriter. Don't think it's going to happen as a band, God willing. I hope we can change the world and make it happen, and bands start making money the way it was. There's a really good feel about that happening. I love what's going on with everybody promoting each other on Facebook and all that. Rumbar Records, Red on Red Records, Wicked Cool, Little Steven Serious Underground. Great things are happening. that are coming together. I see that maybe there's a chance we can revive this. We can bring some sense back into music,
Yeah.
and maybe we can start making some money again.
It'd be
But
nice,
otherwise, please buy my song.
So are you writing other songs too? Do you write and do other publishing deals too for other stuff?
Yeah, I'm writing. I'm putting together my catalog. They're getting everything together. I got about 10 songs. I'm about to go and record. Some may go into the Slamdinistas. Some may just go into my catalog, which I will promote and send out to different music supervisors and stuff like that. Yeah.
So if people want to hear your catalog, or have you'd write for people too, wouldn't you?
Pardon me?
You'd write for people too, right? If people actually reach out to you or co-write, would
I
you?
That's what I'm really looking for. I would love to write for people. You know, I'm working on one song that I really see, like, you know, I don't know, maybe a Janet Jackson feel, maybe a I don't know. I just I've got some stuff out there that's much different from what I, you know, write on the slams, what you hear on the slams.
When you're writing a song, are you writing it? Do you write the music and like a melody? Are you writing the song thinking about who's going to be singing it?
That's one thing I haven't done yet that I'm starting to work on. Who's going to be singing this song? Because I listen to a lot of music. Um, and I don't necessarily target anyone, but I'm starting to, because I've got a couple of tunes that I go, this is a soul tune, this is a rhythm and blues track, and all that. But basically, I watch a lot of Netflix, HBO, and basically the reason I just pick movies and all that, I just really listen to the background music,
Mhm.
just see what's going on. And I always Google Shazam, who's playing, who's the songwriter, and so I learn of a lot of songwriters, and there's just great stuff going
Mhm.
on movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
And I go, if you ask me, that's really happening in film. Um, I don't know. I will think about, or will think more about writing for someone. Um, to tell you the truth, I just don't really like anybody out there right now. You know
No,
what I
it's fine.
mean?
No, I asked that
It,
because like I never thought about that before. Like when you write your songs, you write it, you think you have an idea. But when I was interviewing today, and Stephen Gabe was talking about his father, how his father would write like for Barbara Streisand and stuff, and all those songs. He was specifically writing for her, like, and they started talking. A lot of things the band would do is they'd write for that artist. And I'm like, man, I never thought about them. Somebody writing so specific, not for themselves, but writing it for a certain voice. And it just makes me wonder how many people are doing that. And you're just writing a song for other people. Because if you're writing for the people, you still get your stamp on it. But if you really got that in mind, and you know that person, you're really putting their stamp on it also, which is a little bit different. And I hadn't thought about that yet. You know,
yeah, nor have I. That's an interesting challenge. I should really look more into that. I've thought about that, but it's just like my songwriting is just what I do. I come up with ideas, and sometimes I'll sit there for months and months and months and months and months, and then I'll just have to say, I need to really finish this. You know, I had
yeah,
10 songs floating for the longest time, and I just had to sit down and say, um, finish the song. You know,
yeah.
I can have somebody else walk in and say, we need to change this, we need to change that, but just finish it for now. So that's what I'm just trying to do right now. No, I can't really say that to answer your question. I don't really think about anybody singing the songs, but I do think about genres
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, this is a good rock song. This is a good soul song. This is a good pop song. This is a good country song. But I don't really think of it of anyone in mind.
I don't know if a lot of people do. I was just curious because I heard that recently, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I never really thought of it that way. I mean, obviously, it's worked for Barry Gibb very well, so you can't
Yeah.
knock it. But as a songwriter,
I,
I don't know if I never really asked anybody that question. You're like one of the first people to ask that to, because I never really thought about it.
yeah, who's the guy? Oh my God, he wrote so many songs. There's John. Oh, I forgot his last name, but he wrote that song for the Divinyls. I Touch Myself.
Yeah,
He wrote
is it
Donna's
Ballard?
song.
Is it Ballard?
Huh?
It's not Ballard, is it?
No, it's not Ballard. but he wrote a string of songs. I go, I can't believe this guy wrote for Madonna. He wrote for the Divinyls. And I go, wow. I goes, is he just writing the songs, or did he write them for Madonna, or did he write this for the Divinyls? I don't think so. I think he just wrote songs, really poppy songs that were really that were really good. And that's what pretty much what I'm trying to do as a songwriter, to get it into film, to get to somebody else say, hey, I really like that song, I want to cover it.
Well, that's a whole other animal to get into. If you get into that silo for doing music for films, once you get in and you do a few, you get in that gathering of people. You know what I mean? If you can get into
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm knocking on doors, and once I finish the catalog, I'll be busting down doors and say, hey, listen. So that's my ultimate goal.
So moving forward, so where can people check you out for all these different things?
So there's a Linktree thing that takes us there. We're on just Slamdinistas anything, Slamdinistas Instagram, Slamdinistas Facebook, Slamdinistas Bandcamp, Slamdinistas on Rumbar Records, Slamdinistas I think I'd mentioned that we have Slamdinistas.com. So, we can get all of us stuff that's going on with us right there.
I'll post that up underneath this, so everybody knows. And what about you? If people want to reach out to you directly?
They can reach me on the Slamdinistas.com or they can reach me on Facebook. I have my own Gabriel Johns Facebook that they can reach me on, that I do my promo for my acoustic shows and all of that.
Right, just in case you want to keep it separate and kind of a thing,
Yeah.
It's good to have to check out that also. But it's been awesome. I want to thank you. I want to encourage people to check out all your music.
Sean, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is really fun. I love doing this. And
No
yeah.
We'll have you back again. Maybe we'll get the band back next time we get the album together.
That sounds good.
We'll get the whole band on, and we'll tear apart the songs. All right?
Sounds
very good. Thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much.